I don't know what it is. I don't know why I have to be like this, but it just is for my own health and it's my own personal thing. You know, we're all different and all that kind of stuff. But for me, this is what I have to do for my life. And when I do it, it's like unplugging a TV. It gives me satisfaction and it just gives me what I need. My body needs, my mind. It's just what I need as an individual. Understand people consuming animal products. I mean, I used to take advantage of the fact that whenever I went to a restaurant, I would order a steak and I would get very, very excited about it. And I also thought it was completely normal when I would have bowls and bowls and bowls of ice cream, and I didn't think anything of it. The only thing that I didn't think was normal was the fact that I knew that it was unhealthy, and I knew that it was the reason why I was slightly overweight, but I didn't know how bad it was, not only for me, but for other sentient beings on this planet, not just animals, but also humans, and also our environment that we all live on and share. We don't live on the environment that we all live in, and we all share this environment as well. In our society, we've been taught to believe that those animal products are wholesome and they're perfectly fine in moderation, unless they're like lean meats and organic, local, grass-fed things, then it's like perfectly fine. I'm not oblivious to this. Our culture has taught us that eating animal products is completely normal and very, very wholesome, and there's nothing wrong with that, when in fact it's not. And it doesn't make you a bad person for consuming animal products, but if you consume animal products and you understand what goes on behind the scenes to produce those animal products so they get on your plate, and you understand that those are sentient beings that you're taking the lives and freedom away from, and you continue to do so, then you decide what's wrong with that, or if there is anything wrong with that. In my opinion, I think that's kind of messed up. It's like the same thing as someone who is causing harm or even death upon other humans or even dogs, and they're aware of it, but they continue to do so because they want to, or they feel good because of it, or they get something out of it one way or another, one sick way or another, then obviously, you know, there's a problem. It's the same thing. If you understand that these beings are sentient, they live lives, they have emotions, they have feelings, both mentally and physically, then, you know, why would you be doing that to them? Why would you cause that upon them? I know there are plenty of people who are watching this video, or who I know in my personal life or online or whatever it may be, that consume animal products, and they really aren't aware and they really don't make the connection. But then again, there are people who say stuff like it's like unplugging a TV, referring to stopping a sentient being's heart from beating, as if that's funny, calling it like it's like unplugging a TV. It's just like that. It's like unplugging this ring light that I have shine on my face right now. So what if I were to kill a dog and then I refer to it as it's like unplugging a TV?
How many dogs have you killed?
Probably a couple of hundred.
Hey, this TV's not broken, it's just unplugged.
What's the difference between a dog and a lamb? By the way, for reference, there's this, it's not a thing, but on Chris Pratt's Instagram, he's talking about his passion for farming, which is great. But the only problem with that is that he's taking the lives and freedom away from sentient beings. Yeah, they seem to have a great life, and as he claims, they seem to be happy. But just because they live a happy, great life out in all this land does not give you a right to take their life and freedom away from them. Just like there are plenty of humans out here. I know plenty of my neighbors who live a happy life. They're free range, they're organic. They eat whatever they want. They have their loved ones around them. Does that make it right for me to unplug them like a TV? Meaning that I would kill them? Does that make it right just because they live a happy life and they're free range and they're the happiest humans in the land?
Fresh farm to table lamb. They are the happiest lambs on the planet.
And I know I'm talking about our own species, but what if I did it to my neighbor's dog or my neighbor's cat or a lion? What if I did it to them? What makes a lion, a cat, or a dog different from sheep or cows or chickens or pigs? What's the difference? Where do you draw the line? Because yeah, they all look different, just like a lion looks different from a dog. But why is a lion and a dog allowed to live and have rights, and people talk about them and say, oh my god, it's so sad, like people shouldn't kill them, people shouldn't abuse them, people shouldn't do all these terrible things to them. But then when it happens to like a sheep or like a fish, then it's like, okay, yeah, no big deal. What's the difference?
We need live lambs versus like the meat lambs. Exactly.
Yeah, I think everyone should own a lamb.
Personally, I think the difference is society conditioning us to believe this is normal and this isn't normal. I mean, this has happened throughout history, human history, with us believing, not all of us, because we don't know, we probably didn't live during those times, but us believing that this certain group of humans who aren't different, but they appear different, or they have a different religion, or they have a different belief, even though their belief, their religion isn't bad, and it doesn't condone anything that is bad, it just is their own thing, or their sexuality, or whatever it may be, they're separate from another group, and that other group oppresses them. We've seen that all throughout history, and that still is happening to our other fellow humans and all that kind of stuff. This is what culture conditioning is, where we believe something just because we're taught to believe it, or it's normal amongst our peers, so we believe it to be normal, even though in reality, it's not normal. So it's not normal to oppress other people or other animals because of something that really doesn't matter, whether it be their species, their skin color, their sexuality, their beliefs, whatever it may be. Us oppressing them for those irrelevant things is so silly, when at the end of the day we're all sentient beings, meaning that we can all feel pain both mentally and physically. Now, if we are a bad person and we are doing bad things and we are set out to be malicious, then there's a problem. But if we're not doing any of those things, if we just happen to be gay, if we just happen to be black, if we just happen to be white, if we just happen to be a pig, but we're not doing anything wrong, and those are just things that we can't help, yet people choose to use, abuse, oppress that certain group for whatever reason. There's just so much oppression going on in the world, whether it be to fellow humans or animals. It still is messed up no matter who the sentient being is. It's not cool. Oppression is not cool. So what Chris Pratt is doing by having his farm, which is like cool, but then when you use and kill others while doing your passion, which is your farm or whatever it may be, that is not cool. That's where there's a problem.
They are the happiest lambs on the planet. They're so sweet. And then one day they wake up dead and they're in my freezer. I don't know how it even works, but it's amazing.
I never had anything against Chris. I don't think that he's a bad person. I just don't believe that what he's doing is right. I mean, I know that it's not right. It's not a belief. I know that killing others, other sentient beings, is not right. We all know that. But because of society conditioning us to believe one thing or another thing, that's where there's a problem. And we're not bad people, it's just we're taught to believe this is what we love, this is who we love, and this is who we don't really love. You don't love those who you kill, even though you give them a great life, but you give them a great life so they have they're better quality for you to put into your body. And it frustrates me because I know Chris isn't a bad person. I've seen his Instagram. I mean, I've seen the stuff that I'm talking about, but I've also seen the other stuff where he's helping other people and cheering them up and doing things for them and donating and all these amazing things. But that still does not validate him killing other sentient beings. Just because you do some good doesn't give you a right to do some bad as well. That doesn't get you a getaway free card or something like that. We have to remember that these animals that he's killing and he's celebrating on his Instagram, he is celebrating it. We need to remember that these are innocent, defenseless beings who did nothing to deserve this. If they were bad, I can understand that. But it's the same thing with Jews in the Holocaust. They didn't do anything to deserve that. That was just one person who taught other people to believe this, and those other people worked for that one person, and then they did this to this other group of people for whatever lame reason that's completely irrelevant. And it has nothing to do with that group of people. That doesn't mean that that group of people are bad or they did anything wrong. They just happen to be Jewish. So that is why that happened to them, and it's the same thing with lambs. So they happen to be lambs, and that's why that's happening to them? What if there were dogs? What if there were cats? What if there were tigers? What if they were polar bears? Then would it be okay? Then would he be celebrating it on his Instagram?
You can't possibly think that's okay.
I've never done anything to an animal that's cruel. Animal fighting has nothing to do with violence whatsoever. No different than ultimate fighting, boxing, football.
How many dogs have you killed?
Probably a couple of hundred.
But really think about this. What if the animals were polar bears and dogs and lions? What if he was killing them and hunting them and abusing them, and his son was holding them by their mouth while they just died? Like, what if that was the scenario? I know it's not, I understand that, but what if it was? Then people would not praise him the way that they do now, because in our society, we have been taught to believe that polar bears are great and we need to save them, lions are great and we need to protect them, dogs are amazing and we need to love them, and we need to adopt and not shop, and all these great things. The thing is that why don't we feel the same way about lambs and other animal species? Another thing that I noticed on Pratt's Instagram is that he uses the hashtag God is good, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine, that's great, that's positive. But the only thing is that didn't God create those lambs? And didn't he create them to be sentient beings, meaning that they have a central nervous system connected to a brain, just like Chris, myself, and you do? Meaning that we all can feel pain both mentally and physically. So why would he create those lambs feeling the way that we feel, meaning that they can, feel pain when you slit their throat, or when you put a bolt gun to their head, or whatever method they use to execute those lambs?
And then one day they wake up dead and they're in my freezer. I don't know how it even works, but it's amazing.
Wouldn't you think that God would make them insentient where they couldn't feel pain when we use and kill them for our own benefit? Because God is supposedly good. I'm not saying he's bad, but he's supposed to be good, right? So why would he do that? Put these creatures on this planet, they're sentient, that he would want us to do this to them and cause harm and death upon them and take their life and freedom away from them, away from their family and their life and what they want to do on this planet. Like, I don't know, that's just my theory. Let me know in the comments what you think. Why would God make these beings capable of feeling pain and then let us humans also cause pain upon them when we can feel pain, and we're not supposed to hurt each other? I could be wrong, I could be right. I'm not here to tell you, but I'm just here to share my thoughts. I also want to hear your thoughts on this particular subject that I just talked about within this video. Do you really think that God would create these beings to be sentient just like you and I are, and then just allow us and think that it's perfectly fine when we believe in God, and then we're just like perfectly fine with causing death and harm upon these beings that he created to be sentient, just like we all are, us humans and dogs?
Thank you guys so much. You've taught me so much about raising sheep. Thank you. You guys have been wonderful. I've really enjoyed raising you. I've really enjoyed having you here. Thank you so much for your sacrifice for our family. Thank you.
The way you handle them is you go like this, you can hold them.
And another thing that makes me really sad is that he's teaching his son this. He's teaching his son to fish, and I know a lot of people don't see fish lives important in the way, they're not important to me where I just like think about them all the time, or I even think about them. I really, really don't. But just because I don't think about them doesn't mean that they don't matter, and it doesn't mean that their lives are not important. It doesn't mean that they're insentient just because I don't think about them and I really don't care about them. But just because I don't think about them and I don't really care about them doesn't mean that I don't respect them enough to let them live their life, because they are sentient beings, like I keep saying within this video. So him teaching his son this, and people commenting, oh, this is so cute, they're bonding, father and son time, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But the activity that they're doing isn't so cool, because if he was holding a puppy that he just killed by the mouth, what would people say in the comments? What if it was reversed? What if we lived in a world where we hunted puppies and we played with fish and we loved them? What if it was the other way around? And then he was holding up a puppy and we're just like, yes, father and son time, yes, oh my god, that was a good catch. Well, it wouldn't be a catch because puppies don't swim, but like, oh, what a good, you just ran after that puppy. I don't know. What if it was like reversed? It just makes me really, really sad. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do, how to live their lives, or how to raise their children, but this is the future. And I mean, there's connections to serial killers, and when they were children, they used to kill animals and abuse animals and do terrible things. And I'm not saying that his son is going to be like that or anything like that. I'm sure his son is going to be a great person, but that still isn't cool, and that still isn't good for your mind. Even though in our society it's perfectly fine, but being conditioned to think that that's normal, it's kind of sad. Let me know what you think in the comments, because you clearly know what I think. I want to hear from you. It's not about right or wrong, but I want to hear about what you think about what I had to say, and I also want to hear about what you think about Chris's Instagram and what he's spreading and what he's doing and what he's teaching his son and all that kind of stuff. We don't have to put him down. We don't have to be mean. We should educate, we should help others, and we should leave in the comments, you know? We should spread the truth, but don't sugarcoat it, but also don't be rude. Like, don't call people names. Keep educating yourself so you can help educate others, because most of us don't know the truth. Most of us haven't been aware of this because, like I said, our society has taught us to believe that this is perfectly normal, unfortunately. But I mean, that's just happened in history before with many other things, not just with this thing.
In nature, lambs spend their days learning about their surroundings, bonding with their mother, and playing with friends. Sheep are very playful and affectionate, even wagging their tails, just like dogs.
One thing I want to note is that none of this would matter if he wasn't taking the lives and freedom away from sentient beings. I'm not here to hate on anyone or send hate towards anyone or bully anyone or complain about anyone or start drama or anything like that. I just want people to recognize that if this was happening to other certain animal species, that people would be livid and he would not get the respect that he gets. I want people to have respect, and I'm not jealous of his respect. I think it's amazing. But he has this huge platform, but he's sharing this stuff on there and making it normal for our society, when in reality it's not normal. It's not normal to kill. It's not normal to kill, bottom line. No matter who it is, it's not normal to kill. I really just want us to do good from this and take this opportunity, even though this is a negative situation, the fact that he's sharing this on his giant platform. I want to take it and turn it into a positive by educating others. We don't have to send hate, we don't have to be mean, but we need to speak up for the victims. And even if people who are supporting him don't agree, it's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's not about us being right or wrong. It's just about us standing up for the oppressed ones, just like you would want to be stood up for if someone was taking your rights and freedom away from you. I mean, that's really, really extreme. But if your life was getting taken away or something like that, you would want people standing up for you because it's the right thing to do. If you were a bad person, that's a whole other thing. But you're probably not. So let's just not send hate, and let's just send it education.